Well, thanks for having me today. We can talk a little bit about uh, native fish stocks at the end here. This is primarily just an overview of what we've done with our suppression and monitoring on Lake Roosevelt. And this is work that is done by the Spokane Tribe and our co-managers, the Colville Tribe and Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. And so this is a joint effort. Um, anyways, so how did we get to where we are today with northern pike in Lake Roosevelt? It started in the 1950s. There was initial illegal introduction in western Montana, where that big star is. That's Lone Pine Reservoir, and from there, fish have been moved around by humans and on their own volition up into the Flathead River above the lake and down into the lower Clark Fork. In the 1970s, northern pike were put in Lake Coeur d'Alene, moved into Lake Coeur d'Alene, and from there started moving down the Spokane River into the late 70s. And by 2004, there were northern pike found in the Pend Oreille River in northeast Washington. The interesting thing about that is that you would have thought that northern pike would have moved down the Clark Fork system through Lake Pend Oreille and into the Pend Oreille River. But through some genetic work that my colleagues have done, it looks like those fish that were in the Pend Oreille River actually originated from Lake Coeur d'Alene. So they were moved from Coeur d'Alene into the Pend Oreille River. By 2007, we had our first detection in Lake Roosevelt. And by 2010, they were established in the upper main stem of the Columbia River, which we would consider the area of the Columbia River upstream of Lake Roosevelt up to Keelyside Dam in British Columbia. By 2012, there was suppression started in the Pend Oreille River, and that's been spearheaded by the Kalispel tribe. And by 2019, we had a fish that was just 10 kilometers upstream of Grand Coulee Dam. And so what a lot of the things we're trying to do here is both reduce the extent and abundance of fish in Lake Roosevelt, but we're also trying to keep fish from getting into places, keep northern pike from getting into places where they aren't currently. So we really are trying our best to keep them out of the anadromous zone, and we haven't had a detection downstream of this lowest one in 2019 yet, but we'll get into some of the things that we're seeing here. Okay, so the system that I'm working in is Lake Roosevelt. It was created by Grand Coulee Dam in 1942. It's a 240 kilometer long reservoir. It's co-managed by the Colville tribes, the Spokane Tribe, and WDFW. We're trying to provide fishing opportunities while protecting our native fishes. There's more than $8 million a year that go into the Lake Roosevelt fisheries through restoration, through our hatchery trout program, kokanee programs. There's white sturgeon. Now there's an anadromous program trying to bring back Chinook salmon and eventually sockeye and steelhead. And so there's a lot of things going on here that northern pike can really throw a wrench into. And this fishery provides an estimated economic input of $16 million to local economies. And so you might be thinking, why are northern pike so bad? They've really disrupted a lot of ecosystems in Western states where they're not native. And they're an opportunistic hunter called an ambush predator. They can feed on prey up to 75% of their body size, which you can see in some of these photos. They're eating some pretty large fish relative to the size of themselves. We've had fish up to 26 pounds in Lake Roosevelt. They get there quickly, usually 3 or 4 years, which would mean, they could consume 78 pounds of fish per year if they were that size. There's a study that talked about 2,500 pike consuming 112 tons of fish in 1 year. They really like eating soft rayed fishes, which are the salmonids that we're really trying to keep in Lake Roosevelt. And from the pictures here, you can see that they eat a lot of things. We found a lot of things in northern pike stomachs. We found birds and crayfish and mice, and obviously you can see the bat. We found a 2.5 foot long bull snake, and along with our native fishes that we're trying to protect and conserve. And so when we found when this all started up around 2015 and 2016, and we realized it was going to be a problem, the co-managers came together and developed a technical developed a working plan. And this focuses on a lot of things, but one of the primary things is suppression. And so all the co-managers are doing gill netting suppression. We're doing a little bit of electrofishing, and then we also use pike nets and seining, and the Colville tribe has a really great reward program where they're giving out $10 per pike head. And we've tried some other things with various success as well, set lines. And then we're also doing monitoring. The Colville tribe's done a bunch of microchemistry work and eDNA work. Both the Colville tribe and WDFW do stranding surveys and things like that. We have a creel survey so that we can monitor how many and if people are catching them. And so we're going to go into all that. And this is how it started out. So in 2017, that was the first year that we really ramped up our gill net suppression on Lake Roosevelt. And so you can see on the map in the middle where our sites were and where we were catching pike. And so we put out 324 nets, caught 1,971 pike. For anybody that's done gill netting work, 6 fish per net of your target species is really, really high. And our proportion positive catch was almost 75%, meaning that 75% of our nets were catching a northern pike. So we basically couldn't put a net in without catching a northern pike. And we're going to move on to 2024 and what we're seeing now. So things have varied through time. What you can see on the map in the middle is that we're covering a lot more of the reservoir. We're setting a lot more nets, 781 nets. We did catch 1,069 pike, which I'll go into in a second. And our CPUE is at 1.37, so 1.37 pike per net. But our proportion positive catch is down to 20%. So only 20% of our nets are actually catching pike. And we're covering a pretty broad geographical range here with these nets. And there's 2 things that we're trying to do. Is we're trying to reduce the abundance of pike, but also we have some of these pike that we're catching down by the confluence of the Columbia and the Spokane River. And we're trying to limit the distribution of these fish within this system. So if we're really successful, we'll be able to push some of these fish that are at this downstream extent. We'll be able to remove them and push the distribution back upstream. We're trying to keep these fish as far away from Grand Coulee as possible, so that we can protect all the programs in the anadromous zone, but also, we don't want these in our system either. And so this number was really driven by a large catch of age 0 fish this last year. So we had gone all year and hadn't caught a lot of northern pike. And in October, my crew was up in the upper reservoir, and we ended up catching 951 northern pike in 78 nets in October. And they were all age 0 fish, and they all fit into our 2-inch nets just perfectly. And so some of this is inflated by the fact that they were able to pull off a successful spawning event, and those fish were able to recruit to our gears in 1 season. And so here's some of our trends over time. Our catch per unit effort would be fish per net. These dotted lines on our CPUE would be our targets for them. they're mainly for our monitoring survey, but I put them on here for our suppression stuff too, to just show you how we're doing. And so we've had this trend of downslipping CPUE, obviously with this bump in 2024 when we caught all these age zero northern pike up in the upper reservoir. And what you can see from our effort, our number of nets set, is that we ramped up from 324 in 17, and we hit a high of almost 900 nets in 2023, but we're usually setting somewhere between 750 and 800 nets in the system a year to get after these northern pike. And this is what we've seen as far as our size structure is concerned over this time. So in 2017, you can see the N is just the number of fish that we actually measured, which doesn't actually equate to the number of fish that were suppressed that year, because a lot of these fish get eaten in the nets, especially by otters. If we have any otters, they love eating northern pike out of our nets. So these don't always match up. But what you can see here is obviously we have this huge spike of age zero fish in 2024. But the thing that I think is interesting is we're not getting very many. The further out that we get into our suppression program, we're not getting very many fish in this 750 and up range. So we've been really good at finding these fish fairly early in their life cycle and getting them out of the system. And obviously, this last year, we were able to find a spawning event and remove a lot of northern pike. And obviously, we're not doing this by ourselves. This is a look at what all of our gill net suppression looks like, including our co-managers. So in 2017, you can see the spatial extent of where we were catching northern pike. We caught, a lot of pike in a few nets. And by 2023, I apologize, I don't have a 2024 map yet, but we were catching fewer pike in a lot of nets, but the spatial extent, as you can see, has changed. And there's a yellow dot down here where a fish was caught in 2023 down in the Sandpoil arm, which is relatively close to Grand Coulee Dam. And over the course of our suppression efforts, I think we've caught 5 fish down in the Sandpoil arm. And so that's something that the Colville tribe is very aware of. And obviously all of these fish that have been caught around the confluence of the Spokane and Columbia rivers, I'm acutely aware of. We spend a lot of time there trying to make sure that we keep tabs on what's happening and we're not letting these fish get around us in any way. The other primary method that we use for removing these fish is electrofishing. In 2017, we put out 13 hours of effort. We caught 507 pike. Just like with the gill netting, we couldn't put electricity in the water without finding pike. We're catching 40 of them an hour. It's a really, really good tool if you can find, especially age zero pike. They're pike are really, really sensitive to electricity, and the bigger they get, the more sensitive they are. So if you can find them when they're small and young, they're more susceptible to electricity. We haven't had quite as much success in recent years, but we're still going out. The map in the middle is what our 2024 effort looks like. So we did 4.5 hours of suppression. We caught 2 northern pike. That's 0.4 per hour. We're gonna continue doing these electrofishing suppression efforts. And if we ever run into a situation where we can find the young ear fish, we think that it'll be very effective again, but we can't always find them. And this all culminates in our monitoring survey every fall. So this is how we basically assess how well we're doing with our suppression efforts. We have a standardized GERT survey that the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife puts together every year. We all participate. We all have our sections of reservoir that we net. And so you can look at our catch per unit effort and how it's declined over time, which makes us think that well, number one, we're meeting the objectives set forth in our plan, our suppression and monitoring plan, but also it makes us feel like we're moving in the right direction, right? The catch per unit effort numbers continually are going down, and same with EP is proportion positive catch. So that's just the proportion of nets that actually have a northern pike in them. From the map on the right, you can see that in the lower part of the reservoir, we're only had pike in one spot. That's near Cottonwood Creek. That's a good thing. By no means do we think that those were the only two pike left in the lower part of the reservoir, but it's a good metric to look at our suppression as being effective, and we're meeting the objectives of our plan, which is always nice. We also have an angler creel survey that we do on Lake Roosevelt. This is covers the whole reservoir. We do access sites and bus route surveys. Basically, what we've seen is that most of the pike are caught in the northern section of the reservoir, but also that there's been this downsloping trend in catch, and effort's been kind of all over the place. But there's been this downsloping catch trend, and it just mirrors what we're seeing through our suppression and monitoring. And we think that this is a good additional piece of evidence that our suppression is having the desired effect. So obviously we're not doing this in a vacuum. We've had a lot of help from a lot of people, us and my co-managers. We need to say thank you to them. I would also like to thank my crew over there on the right. There's some of the pike that we've removed. They're out there doing most of the netting. They're out there today netting. I'm in here talking to you guys. So obviously this wouldn't be possible without them. And I think I was able to stay under my time. So be happy to talk about what we're seeing on